Hello, y'all. I'm back again. This is High Priestess Tana talking about the magic of Belle in Detroit, Michigan. So, the last thing that I was speaking of was the Carnival of the Spirit, which is the ADACI's Carnival of the Spirit. Is a ceremony that venerates ancestors lost in the Middle Passage and loved ones who have transitioned. It includes a procession to the river, drumming, dancing, and other offerings. Also, there are other spiritual gatherings such as sunrise services and Carnival of Spirit are the prominent examples, but the other spiritual gatherings include Lost Mariners Remembrance Ceremony and an annual gathering for Sacred Heart Church. So also I would like to touch base on let's see, a few other things when it comes to like the Native American spiritual ceremonies or indigenous people ceremonies. They've been taking place on Belle for a while, for probably hundreds of years, from what it sounds like centuries, few since Detroit, before Detroit was even Detroit, right? So, and it's still relevant till today. And like I mentioned before, it was also known as Wanabezi Swan Island by the, was it Anishinaabe peoples, and it holds a significant cultural and spiritual importance for indigenous peoples. Okay, so also, like I said, Belle is just a sacred site in general for indigenous communities, including the Ojibwa, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi tribes, right? Also known as the Anishinaabe peoples, I guess you would say, and that includes the Ojibwa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi tribes together. It gives like a connection to nature, and in Native American spirituality oftentimes emphasizes the interconnectedness of all living things and environment. And these ceremonies are tied to respecting nature, honoring nature and the spirits, and marking seasonal changes according to the state of Michigan and the local, community. So also powwows and other community gatherings are held in the broader Detroit area as well. So overall, some of these things happen on Belle, and some are just part of the broader Detroit area in general. There are also a lot of celebrations for the native peoples or indigenous peoples by enjoying or engaging in traditional dances, songs, and spiritual practices. And yeah, basically, it is a powerful spot for people to celebrate like the sacredness of the land of Belle, because it holds a rich history. Detroit holds a rich history, and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to talk about that aspect. And I want to talk a little more in depth about the Carnival of the Spirit. This year it celebrated 25 years being in Detroit. So basically, each June for the last 25 years, the ceremony has been held on Belle to honor and celebrate African ancestors. The African Diaspora Ancestral Commemoration Institute of Detroit launched the Carnival of the Spirit in 2001 to venerate Africans lost in the Middle Passage during the slave trade, which I think is really dope, because that's what I love about Detroit. It combines the energies of both African and indigenous, like energy, spirits, and tradition and heritage and culture. You know what I'm saying? So Kefetsi Chike is one of the organization's founders. He says people from various backgrounds have found solace in the ceremony. Yes, because like I said, Detroit has such a diverse history and background, culture and heritage, right? When we started this, the ideal was to be, I'll use the word interfaith for lack of a better word. Yeah, so but it was to be inclusive of all the spiritual expressions of African people in the diaspora. Yes, African people are not monolithic. We're not just one particular way, right? Or African American people, or African peoples of the African diaspora, however you want to put it. Foundational Black Americans, or what's the other term? Ancestral descendants of slaves, ADOS, however you want to, or ancestors, I think, yeah, ancestral descendants of slaves, ADOS. So, yes, all Black people don't come from the same religious background. All Black people aren't Christians. All Black people may not have the same lifestyle. Like, some Black people practice yoga. Some Black people are like health gurus, or something, or health fanatics, like they love being in shape. And you have some Black people who aren't into so much healthy lifestyles, but they aren't like bad, they don't have bad health per se, but they may not eat from the earth like some other Black people. They may still kind of dabble a little bit with fast food, and I think a lot of Black people eat fast food, unfortunately, or soul food. But a lot of us aren't, like, now are pivoting to different lifestyles, like being vegans or vegetarians, pescatarians. I believe those are people who eat fish and stuff. And of course, well, there's a difference between being vegetarian and vegan. But yeah, like, a lot of Black people are pivoting to healthier lifestyles, and other religions, obviously. A lot of Black people, and my grandparents, my great grandparents, actually, on my mom's side, were Muslim. So you have Black people who are Muslim, have Black people who are Jewish, who are Buddhists, who may be atheists or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They could be Hindu or something. I don't know. But anyway, attendees wear white and often bring items to commemorate loved ones lost. The ceremony starts at the Belle Lighthouse with a procession to the river and includes African drumming, dance, and other offerings. Yeah, this is really nice. I really like that. So, very, very, very beautiful energy that I'm getting from this overall, this particular activity / celebration. Commemoration is not really an activity, but it's commemoration. Beautiful. I would love to attend something like that one day. Now, last but not least, I want to wrap it up by talking about these other legends and beliefs about water deities and spirits that are particularly prominent in the Detroit River near Belle. Okay, so I've never heard these before. The Michigander, the Great Lynx, or Water Panther. That sounds scary. Okay, this legendary creature revered by, was it the Anishinaabe? Hold up. Anishinaabe, including Ojibwe, Ottawa. They changed the spelling. I was like, okay, Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples of the Great Lakes region is considered one of the most significant mythical water beings. Oh boy, Mishi-Peshu. It got me thinking of Pishu too, like in Chinese mythology. I think you spell it Pixiu, Pishu. And it's like part dragon and part lion, and it's supposed to bring good luck and stuff like that. I also had a few Pishu bracelets in the past, or recent past. Mishi-Peshu, often described as having the head of and paws of a giant cat covered in scales and with dagger-like spikes, embodies the powerful and sometimes fearsome forces of nature. It is believed to guard valuable resources like copper, and maintaining balance between water and sky forces represented by the Thunderbirds is crucial. I was reading something about Thunderbirds, but let's keep going. While Mishipishu could be seen as protective, particularly for those who respected the waters, disrespect or greed was believed to invoke its wrath in the form of storms or drownings. Oh boy. Offerings were sometimes made to ensure safe passage across lakes. Then we have the goddess slash lady in white of Belle. We already talked about that, so all right, I'm not going to keep going over that, but let's skip our water babies. What? Patnawat? Wow. While perhaps less directly linked to Belial, the broader belief in water babies or Patnawat as guardians of lakes, ponds, and springs is relevant to understanding indigenous spiritual connections to water in the region. These spirits are described as beautiful human infants with fish tails embodying the sacredness of the water. What? What? They're like baby mermaid slash merman, right? And that's crazy why I wore this, because I was like, wow, this is like deep, yo. Yeah. Do one more. Wrap it up. It was something else I saw, but I don't see. Okay. That's what I was looking for. Yes. Honey, that's going to be a separate video within itself. They talk about the name rouge or red dwarf, a creature said to appear as a harbinger of misfortune. Baby, they talk about that's connected to the Detroit River, though, in the Great Lakes. That's a little bit off topic from this, but sort of, because I'm really kind of stuck on Belial. But wait a minute, I read something about a horned serpent. That's what I was looking for, and it didn't show it on that one. It's showing up on here, but it's not going into depth. This is deep. Oh. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is deep. Wow. Okay. So the horned serpent is a recurring figure in mythology of various Native American tribes, particularly in the Great Lakes region where the Detroit River is located. While specific legends about a horned serpent exclusively associated with the Detroit River are scarce and readily available information, the creature, often seen as a powerful spirit associated with water, rain, lightning, and thunder, appears in the traditions of tribes that have historically inhabited the Great Lakes areas, such as the, what's that? Here we go. Anishinaabe, Ojibwa, Ottawa, Potawatomi peoples or tribes. Okay. So they said physical appearance is described as a giant serpent with horns and often adorned with iridescent scales and a dazzling crystal on its forehead. Okay. Wow. Powers and attributes. The horned serpent